in the lesson I've planned to do substitution with year 10. I've got a hook at the beginning to link it to some real world aspects where they're going to think about how they think about substitution within their sports and what that means to them, so then we can link that into their math skills and their numeracy skills for that sense. I've planned to model the first one in detail, so walk through it so the pupils can see what my expectations are for this, and then I'm going to question with the second and third example so that pupils can show me that they understand together what they're doing and they can model off each other of the understanding. And then they're going to have a go at 3 questions themselves where they can practice that skill really quickly on their whiteboards and then show me that they can complete that basic skill and then build on that again into a 2-step substitution. And past that, we're then going to complete a worksheet which is for them to practice all their skills in one. So if I talk about the word a substitute or substitution, okay, and maybe not talking about maths, talking about something else, what does that word mean to us? If I'm talking about like in some sort of sport or something like that, what's that word substitution? What happens if we do that kind of thing in a sport? Do you know?
Taken away.
What? Explain more. You take someone away, but what else happens?
Someone else gets.
Go on. Someone else gets put on. Perfect. Okay. So someone comes off and someone goes on in their place. Okay. That's what happens when we substitute in our sports. Okay. Like if you boys play football and things like that. Okay. But it's the same for maths. Okay. But what happens with maths instead is we're working with algebra. So I'm replacing what's called our variable, our letter, okay, with a number. Okay, with a value. Okay. It's the same idea. I'm going to simply go. Okay. My letter's coming off my pitch and my number's going on my pitch instead. Okay, don't need to write that down. Okay, we're going to just go straight into the examples. But that's the basic idea, so it's good. Keep that into your mind about what we're doing when we get onto it, okay? So when it comes to a substitution, okay, we've got these letters, so I've got A, B, and C in this case, and we call them variables. Okay, so they're called variables because they can change. So in this scenario, I'm telling you A is 4, B is 7, and C is 5. But I can change that depending on whatever question I want to give you. Okay, but so for these 3, I'm telling you A is 4, B is 7, and C is 5. So I've got A is 4, let me get some colours on it. I'm going to have B is 7, and I'm going to have C is 5. Okay? So I'll do the first one for you, then you're going to work through it with the rest of this. Okay? So for the first one, I've got A plus 6. So I see my letter A, and I'm going to replace it with whatever A is worth. How much is A worth, Curtis?
4.
4, good, okay. So I'm going to replace it with a 4. Everything else within my equation is going to stay the same. So I'm still going to have my plus 6. And now it's a sum that I can do. Okay, so Theo, what's my answer going to be? 10, good. Okay, that's it. Okay, I look at the letter I want to replace, I substitute it out for my number, and I do the calculation I need to do. Okay, so we're now going to link this back into what we were doing a little bit last time. Okay, last lesson. Okay, with how we write algebra. Okay, so if I look at the first one, for example, again, I've changed my letters, I've varied them, so we've got to make sure we're looking at each value before we start, okay? The first thing, I've got 4a. Now, when we're writing algebra from last lesson, what do we mean when we push things together like that? What am I doing with my 2 things? Theo? You times it, good. Okay, so when I push my number and letter, I write them next to each other, I mean times. So instead, I could write this instead as 4 times a. Okay, that's what that means to me. Okay, and apart from that, I'm now going to do the same kind of thinking. We just got to be prepared of how we read algebra in the first place. So
4 times 7.
Perfect. Okay, 4 times 7. Why 7, Charlie?
Because a equals 7.
Because a is 7. Good. And I can work out what 4 times 7 is. Okay, so 4 times 7 is going to give me 28. Okay, that's my answer. Okay, but it's about how we read our algebra is what's important to us here. Okay, so that's what I mean when I write 2 things like touching next to each other. Okay, what do I mean when I write them as a fraction instead? What do I mean when I write them as a fraction? Curtis, do you remember?
Division.
It's division, good. Okay, so when we've got to be careful now, it's always whatever's on the numerator, so the c in this case, divided by what's on the denominator, which is 6. Okay, so make sure we don't just flip them round magically because we want to make our sum easier for ourselves. Okay, whatever's on the numerator has to stay as what you're dividing. And it works out the same. Let's get my colours back on. Right, what letter am I substituting in, Charlie?
C.
C, what's it worth?
12.
Good, okay, so I've got 12 into here.
What equals 2?
Good, perfect. Let's have 3 minutes, okay? Change the colours on there.
2c times it, so it become 2 times 12 because c is equal to 12.
Perfect, okay. And then what do you get for your final answer?
24.
Perfect. Okay, once you do our substitution, we're just doing offsets. And we know how to do those. Okay, Theo, what about number 2? Let's walk through this.
B divided by 7, which is 14 divided by 7.
Okay, so you've got, what colour one? 14 divided by 7, good.
Which is 2.
Good. Okay, Charlie, what about C?
Is it, so change it to divide.
Yeah, good. Okay,
So then C equals 12
okay,
and A equals 4.
okay.
And then 12 divided by 4 is 3.
Perfect. Right, the last one then. What does that little 2 mean in the corner?
Square number.
It means a square in a good, okay? What am I doing if I'm squaring a number, Theo?
Times of myself.
Times by itself, good. So a squared is a times a. Okay, so I'm timing it by itself,
So 4 times 4.
okay? Which is going to give me what?
16.
Good. Excellent, really happy with that one. Okay, really happy with how that looks, good. Right, we're going to separate up again. We're going to do multiple things now, because so far all we've done one step. We've either done like adding or subtracting, or we've done timesing or dividing. Okay, we're going to look at what happens when we have multiple things going on. Okay, so blue book's back out in front of you. Right, in this cases now, okay, I no longer have just one thing to do. I'm going to have multiple like operations to do in one calculation. Okay, so I've got 4 letters this time. Okay, I've got A, B, C, and D. Okay, and I've changed them again. So I've got A is 4, B is 2, C is 10, D is A, and we're getting used to that, which is really good. Okay, now for the first one, I've got 2A plus 6. Okay, now let's home in on that 2A bit, because that's where my letter is, that's where my variable is. What did we mean when we pushed through 2 things next to each other? Theo?
Times.
Good, so this, if I was to rewrite this line without doing any substitution, this is 2 times A and then plus 6.
What's
Okay.
2 times 4 plus 6?
Perfect, okay? So I can then now do my replacement. So A is 4, so I can replace this for my 4. So I got 2 times 4, and then plus 6. Now,
Do you do the times first or the plus?
you are right, I would do the times first. Why would I do the times first though?
Bit maths.
Say again, Theo?
Bit maths.
Bit maths, perfect, okay? So I have to follow my order operations, okay? So I have to do the multiplying first. Luckily, with the question I've written, it is the first thing in my line, but we do need to remember to follow bit maths when we're doing it. Okay, so I'll write bit maths on the board just to remind us. Okay, so the order in which we have to do any kind of operations. So, you're right, Charlie, I'm going to do the timesing first. What did the timesing give me?
12. Oh,
2 times 4 first, is what I wanted to do.
8.
Can I get to this? Okay. What else do I need to stick at the end bit? What else do I still need to do though?
8.
Add the 6.
Add the 6. Good try, that's what I needed. Okay. So I do my multiplying first. That gave me my 8. And now I've got my 8 plus 6, which is going to give me what, Theo?
14.
14. Good. Okay.